But you're like, this is all fantasy, though.
But yeah, to me, it's all fantasy. Like,
I'm like, it all means something.
Yeah. I'm not as woo as Marie, guys.
No.
I'm not.
No, I know. But you're still, I think you're there.
Like, I think
I'm a little bit under you.
Giselle Bundchen is a witch. And like, she had like, and Taylor Swift, I'm like, how else do you explain? Like, that, like, there's definitely like power, like good power, I think there.
Yeah.
I believe, but my husband and my very practical 13-year-old are like,
I think a very good practical explanation is that some people are just more in tune and perceptive. And you like perceiving things that maybe are just unseen, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Like I always think of like radio waves. So people's thoughts are radio waves.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like just if I can like tune into what you're thinking or feeling, doesn't mean like that's a logical way of thinking it. I mean, you can't see radio waves, but you can receive it.
I think maybe that's how I've started being like more okay with that side is like when I started reading about like quantum physics. I'm like, this makes so much sense. Like, so it's like when your like rational brain has an explanation for like
you're more open to it.
Are there different timelines? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, nothing feels off the table in my mind. Like,
Shelly's face. I feel like we should just zoom in on Shelly's face.
But to me, I'm like, nothing's off the table with
my friends with you three?
But you're going to have to show it to me.
Yeah.
Why, though? Like, why?
Welcome to the Bloom Era. Join Marie, Michelle, Veda, and Michelle, 4 lifelong friends, on our journey through perimenopause. We'll share our stories, insights, and laughter as we embrace this new stage of womanhood. Let's bloom together. Why am I so nervous?
it's so funny. Like, we do these, and I'm always like, what are we going to talk about for,
30 minutes?
But I'm like, I felt like we could have probably gone an hour.
Yeah. I wanted to say something about I have sleep paralysis. I was like, oh, that's so off
what's
topic.
Sleep paralysis?
So my family has it. It's kind of weird because culturally, I don't know if it's genetic or not, but culturally it's pretty common with like Lao culture. And like Southeast Asian culture. So that could still be genetic. But like it's when like it's like your
still
body.
So I might make this a little thing. Okay.
Like where your body is like asleep. Like, so when you go to sleep, I think your brain, it's like sleep, you like get paralyzed.
Right. Like
sleep.
technically. Like,
but then it's like when you gain consciousness before your body wakes up. So it's kind of frightening because you're trying, you feel like you can't move. But you're conscious.
But your body's sleeping.
So you get really scared. And
Have you felt this?
No, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. And so what they do is because we're struggling to like get people like to wake us up, like fully, like I need my husband to wake me up. So like I'm trying to move. It's like a horror film. Like you're trying to speak.
You have this?
So then it comes out like, and then it goes, like help, but you can't say help.
You can't say it.
So it's just weird noises.
You're
so they call it la. It's like because it's like the little bit that
but you do.
But you're trying so hard to get even that out for somebody to just be like, wake up.
How often does this happen?
It doesn't happen really often with me, but it's
Does your husband know that he needs to wake you up at that point? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I would say,
did y'all talk about this in premarital?
No, I just think I don't know. I might have told him beforehand, but like my parents get it. Like when my dad, remember when my dad was really sick and he moved in with us. So in the beginning, I don't know if he was just really stressed out and like just stuff was off. He was doing it quite often.
Yeah,
and probably like a new environment too. Like,
So if you're really tired or if you're really stressed,
your body's like, no, I want to sleep. But
so Freddy Krueger, the movie Freddy Krueger that story was based off a bunch of kids who immigrated here from like Southeast, I don't know if it's Cambodia or somewhere, but apparently they had all died in their sleep, and it like from like it was felt
from
like they were from fear because obviously that's a really stressful environment. So they could have been to the point where they like gave themselves like a heart attack.
Yeah, like essentially.
And so that's where that guy came up with that. Who's that famous book writer? Wes Craven. So I think he saw that in the news or something.
He was like, that's terrifying.
And he's like, he came up with the concept of like an actual Freddy Krueger coming to get you. But the thing is, in the culture, it is like a ghost is on top of you.
Yeah.
That's what's
paralysis.
That's how
which probably
they
like perpetuates it.
Yeah, so then you get more scared because you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
This ghost is like trying to,
suck at my soul.
Yeah, or whatever. So you're afraid, and then it's just a scary feeling.
Or just you?
No, it's me and my family gets it. My mom and dad have gotten it. Like I said, it's pretty common in the culture. Yeah, my sisters. But I think some Americans must get it too. There's a term for it.
Yeah.
But like you said, they don't
fascinating
associate it with like a scary thing either. So maybe it's less frightening.
I've heard it is
scary.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know
But
if
do they
they just like
associate it with a ghost?
I don't know.
or like some demon
something.
coming to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I wonder, like, because I mean, that's been, well, at least like there's some element of like cultural trauma.
Yeah.
In that, I wonder if there's any, but if it happened before modern day, whatnot, then
but even
like if it was happening,
but think about it, like since World War II, there's been like a lot of trauma. Like it could have been like
Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it could have been like Vietnam area, but it could have been even since like World War II, there's been a lot of trauma in that area. So it could be like
throughout
in your psyche, and it just gets passed through,
Interesting.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
But I love
trauma,
sleep.
yeah.
I think sleep is just, I don't know, it's this like connector between like the material world and the spiritual world to me. So I'm like, fascinating.
So you're like really into dreams.
Oh,
too.
100%. Like I just like.
Your mom is too, though, because I remember in high school, I'd be like, because I remember I kept having this recurring dream, like very vivid, that my teeth were falling out.
Yes.
And your mom was like, she told me it meant something. I can't remember what.
New beginnings?
No, I think it meant like.
Sometimes it means like you're
stress?
out of control. Like you don't feel like you have, like your teeth falling out is a very uncontrollable feeling.
And that's what happened. Like, and I still, like, that's one of the only recurring, and I don't dream them, or I don't remember my dreams that often.
One. I'd have the same one.
Yeah.
Not where it was like just recurring, but I've had it multiple times.
That's recurring.
Well, I'm saying not like I didn't have like a
every
stint.
night, like,
I didn't have a stint where I was like, I keep having
It's
this
happened.
It's happened multiple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me. I mean, I probably haven't had it. I've probably had it once in the last 5 years. It was like more often in high school. And then, but it's the worst because it's so real. You're like, that feels loose, and then you push it out with your tongue, and I just
and then they all just start.
Me and Matt watched this movie. What was it? I don't know. I forget what it was called, but in it, one of the kids in the movie, he's like a teenager. His teeth start falling out. And it's like, that's my dream, is what happens. It was like some horror movie.
Yeah.
So you feel like your dreams, like when you have a dream, you're like, feel like it's saying something to you?
There are dreams that are distinct. Like, I don't have a lot of like normal day dreams. Like, I don't know.
You do like your premonition-y dreams.
Yeah, I have like, but when I have a sticky dream, like, and I know there's a difference. Like
didn't you know Veda was pregnant?
I knew Veda was pregnant. Veda knew she was going to have twins. Like, you had a dream about twins. Because not that you had twins, but you have.
I didn't have twins.
But you have as close to not twins
as Marie was pregnant, actually, too, with Ren.
With Ren, yeah. And then, so I feel like, and this isn't, like, I feel like Shelly and Melissa, in my mind, are very, like, on the ground earth people, right? I feel like you're middle, like you're there. And then I feel like me and you are woo-woo.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I see. I wouldn't say woo-woo.
But like
woo, but I see exactly what you're saying. Like you're more in tune with your spirit, with the spirituality, with the universe. No, I would definitely see that.
And so, like, I've never had a dream about Melissa pregnant or Shelly pregnant or anything like that. And I'm always like, it's because you guys are really close to the world. Like, and not the world in a bad way,
but
just
like the
you're
earth.
grounded.
You're
grounded. Grounded,
right. And then like,
I see that.
Like, and so, but then I felt like I had dreams about you getting pregnant, and I'd had dreams about, and I've had feelings about, not about pregnancy, but like just.
There's been like, definitely, at least, I was telling, I think, Kaya this other day, like there's been times in my life where I was like, you give me a call out of nowhere, like we hadn't talked forever, and you're like, and the same, I think vice versa, exactly.
And
I'm like, I needed that,
and so, and it'd be weirdly like specific, and I'm like, okay, well, that's good, but no, so I feel like you're like kind of the middle.
I think it's because I fight,
like. You don't want to go to the woo-woo.
I don't, but I think
you don't want to be the woo-woo?
I mean, I think I'm okay with it, but like my like
logical
is like, no, you need to be like, I've always, my whole life, I'm like remember I was like, I'm going to be stoic. Like nobody says that who's actually stoic. There's only people who are like, who's like,
I need to get back to earth.
But like, I think I always try to like, something about me is always like, no, like focus on this.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
So, like, I think Mark is very, like, on the ground, like, for the most part. And I drag him up. I'm like, but what does it mean in your soul?
I'm very skeptical of things like fortune tellers and things like that. Like, I'm like,
I believe all of it. And like, but so, like, obviously, like, I'm a Christian, so I'm like, not that it's, but I'm like, that's a gateway to the spiritual world that I don't want to be in. Like,
it's funny. I love reading like fantasy books, though. It's like I'm trying to get to that
level. Like, you're like, that's a neat idea.
I'm stuck in the ground. I'm trying to jump up into the into the
But you're like, this is all fantasy, though.
But yeah, to me, it's all fantasy. Like,
I'm like, it all means something.
Yeah.
I'm not as woo as Marie, guys. No. I'm not.
No, I know. But you're still, but I think you're there.
Like, I think
I'm a little bit under you.
Giselle Bundchen is a witch. And like, she had like, and Taylor Swift, I'm like, how else do you explain? Like, that, like, there's definitely like power, like good power, I think there.
Yeah.
I believe, but my husband and my very practical 13-year-old are like,
I think a very good practical explanation is that some people are just more in tune and perceptive. And you like perceiving things that maybe are just unseen, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Like I always think of like radio waves. So people's thoughts are radio waves.
Yeah. Yes.
And so it's kind of like just if I can like tune into what you're thinking or feeling, doesn't mean like that's a logical way of thinking it. Like, you can't see radio waves, but you can receive it.
I think maybe that's how I've started being like more okay with that side is like when I started reading about like quantum physics. I'm like, this makes so much sense. Like, so it's like when your like rational brain has an explanation for like, you're
more
like,
open to it.
Are there different timelines? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, nothing feels off the table in my mind. Like,
Shelly's face. I feel like we should just zoom in on Shelly's face.
But to me, I'm like, nothing's off the table with
how am I friends with you
possibilities,
three?
but you're going to have to show it to me.
Yeah.
Why, though? Like, why?
see, I agree.
Well, have you seen that? Haven't they proven?
Why would the universe need to prove anything to you?
Well, it doesn't, but I'm not going to believe it if it doesn't.
Isn't it quantum entanglement? Haven't they proved that?
They have, yeah.
So where two different atoms like all have like basically mimicked each other.
Yes, like that are in like separate parts, and they will. Yeah,
I don't get it, but I heard it.
I'm fascinated.
So,
like, yeah,
I don't understand
like
quantum physics.
Fortune teller person being able to talk to your deceased relative. I'm not going to believe that until it is to me somehow proven.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if it can be proven. You know,
yeah,
I'm not in their head unless it's me that starts talking to these people. You know,
and you may not be able to prove it in like an earthly way either. Even saying so, but that's to each their own. But yeah, I feel like. Well, my husband is big on energy. So everything's energy. Like you pass away, it's energy. So it's like, are you able to receive and kind of like understand that energy?
Yeah. Because they're like, you can't, like if it can't be created or destroyed,
it's
then
somewhere.
It's still there. Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
So to journaling.
That was like a more interesting episode than.
Oh, where we're recording all of that. That will be its own like sidebar. Welcome to lunch at Antioch High School. Like, I feel like
basically. What are the nerds talking about today? Quantum entanglement? I have no idea what that means, though. Like,
I really don't. We need the Big Bang Theory like theme song going on here.
Do you remember those? I can't remember who it was, but they were like, all you guys talk about lunch is sex and math.
I don't
remember that.
I don't remember who it was.
Did we talk about math that much?
I'm
not surprised about the sex. Well, no. I mean, none of us were having it, so.
Know what we were talking about. I mean, we know more about algebra.
That's probably right.
Calculus.
Yeah, that's
because I think our lunch period was the middle of calculus.
Also.
So that's why.
Yeah, that makes sense that we would be. But I don't know. I believe that we were talking about sex, but I don't know what we were talking about. Like
we probably knew as much about that as we do about quantum
physics. Yeah, that's true. Just our thoughts about what it may be.
Yeah. But that's why we're talking about it.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
That's why we talk about perimenopause. We're like, we don't know what's going on.
Yes,
but we'll
please.
talk about it.
Don't listen to our advice at all.
At all.
Because we're not old enough to be in perimenopause.
At all.
None of
when
these
you're in your
symptoms.
20s.
Maybe that's why I need you guys, is to make me not be stuck on the ground.
No, but we need you to. I need you. Bring me back down.
I'm like the sandbag to your hot air balloon.
Exactly. No, I truly believe. I mean, I've always felt that, but now I'm like, because I've always wondered, like, because I feel like I'm very close to you, but I've never had, and I'm very.
That's my dog.
Oh, okay. Do you want? Oh, they'll get him. Yeah. But like I've always. So it's always like when I started having dreams about you, and like I had like, you know, like we had our weird stuff too. I was like, why don't I ever have anything? Because I never had it with Melissa, and I feel like she's very like grounded, like you know, she doesn't get super. She's getting a little more woo woo, but for the most part,
I think being a mom will do that to you, unless you're Shelly.
Shelly was very in the ground, but you know, I think so. I was like, I wonder why, and I just felt like that was the answer. Was like, oh no, you're the tree, and then you know. And neither side is good or bad. It's just like what Veda was saying. Like, it's like access to different things.
I think it's kind of good to have like.
And I think you find a
that,
grounder
balance you.
Yeah. Like I feel like Mark is definitely my grounder, and like that's what you were for college. And so it just was. I was like, why don't I ever have dreams about Shelly getting pregnant?